Hi guys, I'm Dr. Jenny White, a dentist in Sarasota, Florida, and her fearless patient Susan with our podcast, Open Wide, Unfiltered Opinions Between a Dentist and Her Patient. Over the past 25 years or so, I've been sitting in a little room talking to myself all day, and I've gained a lot of wisdom through that process, which I want to share with you. We hope our podcast casts optimism and fearlessness to you so you can rise to the top, stay at the top, and dream bigger than you've ever imagined.
Well, we're super excited to have you on the podcast today, Allison. We have Allison Emery from Grapevine Communications. Let me just read a short bio of her. From a young age, Allison knew she was destined to have a career in communications and trained under the same speaking and performance coach as Paul Rudd and Jason Sudeikis, who I love, by the way.
He's good.
While still in college, she landed her dream job with the Kansas City Royals, confirming her love of sports and strategic messaging. Soon after graduating from the University of Kansas, she traveled, living in the Virgin Islands, San Diego, New Orleans, Lake Tahoe, Colorado, and finally making her way to Sarasota in 2004. For more than a decade, she pursued a career with a number of media companies in the country. In April of 2017, Allison purchased Grapevine Communication. Now in its 23rd year, this team of smart-thinking, hard-working, self-confessed strategy nerds take great pride in their creative know-how, results-driven mindset, and commitment to community. And what she doesn't have in this bio is it's a multiple award-winning company. Allison and her husband David are parents to two brilliant children, Rip and Ryan. She's a leader, cancer survivor, snappy dresser, and fantasy football champion.
Yes.
Please join us in welcoming Allison to the podcast.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you for being here. This is so
I
exciting.
know. We're so excited on a bazillion levels, and we may not have enough time with just 30 minutes, so we'll have to have you come back if we don't.
Oh,
right?
I'd love to.
Right.
So let's start with, you got into communications. Did you know from a young girl that you wanted to do this?
Yes.
Like, what was the impetus?
A great question. And my dad was friends with a guy named Peter Gabriel. Different Peter Gabriel, not the musician. But Pete was a tremendously well-respected and syndicated broadcaster. And so when Uncle Pete would come over and I'm just a little girl, we would play radio because he had that quintessential booming radio voice. Oh. And so that was how it all began. And to me, that was, I can do something that's challenging and exciting, and I can use my brain and, charisma and wait, that's a job?
Yeah.
So there we were. And my mom taught communications, English, creative writing, and performing arts, and my dad was a sought-after public speaker. So I was, yeah.
You were
Yeah,
born
so
to
you
do
grew up
that.
with-
You were
grew up around
born
it.
to
Yeah.
do this. Yeah.
So
Oh my gosh,
know.
that's great. So tell us about like your first job then in broadcasting or radio or marketing or communications. What was your very first job?
Sure. Well, the first time I got to do it professionally, other than being in school and working on the radio and TV and all that, and doing performing arts in school, the first time I actually got paid for it was with the Kansas City Royals. And I was 21 years old, and it started as an internship, and I pulled up in my 1988 Mitsubishi Montero, terrified and excited.
I had the same car.
Yes, we called it the Mitsuliki, and there was probably a little bit of nepotism because my brother-in-law at the time was the chair of the Heart of America United Way, who had a relationship with the Royals, and they were just baseball was coming off a strike, and I guess I interviewed well, and my resume was good, and I got this job, and I was just the puppy dog for the marketing director, a gal named Suzanne Rayson, who I think there's actually a marketing college at the University of Miami named in her honor now. But she was tough as nails. She had always worked in sports marketing, and I learned a lot. And, use your ears twice as much as your mouth, and only speak if you know you're bringing value to the room. And the smartest thing you can ever say is, "I don't know, but I'll find out." Mm. And so I learned very early there, and then I ended up working with their radio affiliate for a while, Intercom Radio, and launched a all sports AM station in Kansas City. And then I decided to follow my little wanderlust and left that part of me behind. And that's why I moved around like a gypsy for so long. And primarily, I would work as a bartender or in hospitality management. I worked for the Ritz for a hot minute, and you could land anywhere you wanted and have a job and cash in hand that day if you were a good bartender.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I
Those are
traveled.
good jobs.
That's
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
exciting. It was
Yeah.
kind of like your eat, pray, love moment
It
in your
was.
life. You were just traveling
was.
around, gypsying around.
Yeah,
That's
romanticize
cool.
it. Tell my parents that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll never get
Yeah.
it.
And when my kids do it to me, I will not.
Yeah, you will
relate.
not
No.
understand that.
No.
Yeah. Cool. So now, so then you came to Sarasota, and did you work for Grapevine before you bought them, or did you just all of a sudden it was available and you thought this is a good parlay of all my skills and I'll just buy this advertising agency?
No. There was a lot more integration and overlap over the time before I jumped out of that airplane with my parachute. But I began in 2007 working for, at the time it was Clear Channel, then became iHeartMedia. And from that moment, beginning in that moment, I worked with Grapevine as their vendor. So I worked with them on radio events and digital marketing. Now, Grapevine was originally founded in Montreal, Canada in 1988 and was there for 10 years, then was bought by Intertape Polymer Group, which if you...
Of course.
Right, but no, if you've ever opened an Amazon package, you know
That's
Intertape,
it.
that's their tape.
Yeah.
Sure.
So Grapevine was bought out to deploy their U.S. operations. And so that's what happened for 4 years. And then in 2002, it started again in Sarasota as an independent agency. And it's the reason Communications Parkway is Communications Parkway in Lakewood Ranch, because of Grapevine Communications. And so I began working with them after they re-engaged as an independent agency in 2002. I started working with them as a vendor in 2007. In 2016, 9 years later, I became very close with the founder of the company, Angela, and her husband, John, who was the co-operator at the time. And, they had engaged with an M&A firm, and they were ready to retire, and they were looking at maybe doing an ESOP and all sorts of things, and without really knowing what it meant, and fueled by wine.
Yeah.
Fueled
Yeah.
by,
Yeah, all decisions are, yeah.
Piss and
All
vinegar.
decisions.
Yeah. And I said, well, I'll buy it. And it was the oxygen left the room. And they were, are you serious? And then the next day, 7:30 in the morning, I'm like, hey, did you mean, were we really on the same page last night? And then I met with her and it was a Sunday, and I'll never forget, and I drove to her office and I signed a letter of intent. And then almost 1 year to the day later, I figured out what it really means to buy a business, and the funding and the efficacy, and jumping through all the hoops, and buying the building and the business and assets and taking over the team, and never looked back. It's been the best thing I ever could have done, and terrifying on the daily.
At the same time, yeah. How many years ago was that?
That was 2017.
17.
I honestly think, Allison, and what's your opinion, that's the best way to do it. And I think your gypsy years prior to this got you ready for that moment to do that thing.
I agree.
That's my take on this.
I agree. I'll give you that.
Because if you would have sat and done everything properly and you would have probably been freaked out by the contract and not taken the leap. So the gypsy lifestyle led you to take the leap, and here you are. That's my take.
That's a good spin. That is a solid
We'll go
spin.
with that.
It does make sense. How many employees do you have?
Right now, 23.
And do you
23.
just operate in Sarasota, in Florida? Do you have national clients?
Yeah, we're a combination. So we always focus on the local community and region, because that's where we all live.
Yeah.
I don't offshore or outsource labor, so we're all in it together, and are typically face-to-face daily. So with that, we like to work locally, because part of our ethos is doing a lot of volunteer work, and that's rolling up our sleeves and volunteering, cash donations, in-kind donations, and general support. And we like our clients, we like to encourage them to do the same. And so typically when we're doing annual strategic plans, we're earmarking, okay, what are our contributions? With this is going to be good for your brand overall, and this is why. So we do it with intent. But yeah, no, we have some clients that are multinationals. We just did a project for Bayer. We have some Fortune 500 companies. We have some publicly traded companies with whom we work. And that's fabulous, and it's fun to sharpen our pencils that way. And the one thing that we do is we're industry agnostic, so we won't work with competitors in going after the same marketing area.
That's smart.
And so,
super smart.
Okay, hey, well, if you're opening a med spa over here, we have this tactic that worked for a car wash over here. It could really be innovative, and it works.
So describe the types of services you provide. I know you do strategic planning and you do advertising and marketing and public relations. You do it all.
Yeah, well, we don't want to be the jack of all trade, master of none. So that's why we have so many humans. But it is anything from logo development and brand standards guides to website development to videography to podcasts to digital and social media marketing. And we have 3 full-time copywriters because, use Grok, use GPT, use Gemini, use it all. But you got to have a human to
managing.
Give it, it has to have humanity. It has to have humanity. And even like in the digital realm, if you're using something, if you're drafting something 100% with GPT and that's what you use to build your website, Google's AI will scan that and classify it as spam.
Yeah.
So in some cases, a human touch to at least take that first draft and modify it to 25% or more. If you don't do that, then you're garbage.
Yeah.
What part of everything that you do, which is a lot, what part of it you just love, you can't wait to get to, you look forward to it? Like where's the excitement, the juice for you?
Yeah, that's in the strategy. That's in the strategy. So I have geniuses in every department in our building, and I am a genius in none of those departments. So I think my zone of genius lives in okay, what's our why? To take a little from Simon Sinek here, people will know what you do, might probably know how you do it, but the why is what's at the core, and that's your unique value proposition, and that's what you lean to, and it should never be self-serving. You do what you do to be of service to others, and that's where we get into that. And then overlaying, okay, quantitatively, how is this going to drive either key performance indicators or, return on ad spend? What's our ROI here? So that's the dork in me.
There's a lot of psychology involved in what you do, like a lot to get to the why.
Yeah.
Like you got to pretty much be a psychiatrist.
You have to beat it out of some people too.
Well, you have to get in the mindset of the CEO of the business, right? Like what does she or he need or want, or where are they going and what have they done? So there's a lot of psychology involved. Yeah.
It's fun. Well, do you know, like cell phone companies have teams of psychologists on staff, because when you look at your phone, what's going to get you to your desired outcome the quickest.
Yeah.
And so you have to think, how do you remove all obstacles? What's your pain point? How do we get to the finish line fastest?
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
So interesting.
I have a question about the future of advertising and communications, because AI is playing such a major role in all of our lives, and things like third-party cookies are going away, and things that you would, I assume, rely on. Tell us about what you see the future of your business looking like. Are you optimistic about it? Are there some cool things coming up that you're going to be able to embrace and use? Tell us about that.
Yeah, that's a great question. And no, it's wildly exciting. So, I mean, innovation in marketing, it kind of aligns with the marketplace overall in terms of, we used to hand draw things, then we started using computers.
Yeah.
We used to draft everything, in its original basis from scratch, and now we've got AI that can generate a first draft. So it's nothing new, it's nothing scary, and it's a useful tool. We call artificial intelligence a very productive intern. And that's what it is. That's what it is. It can help you overcome creative or writer's block. It can spark new questions and ideas, but you have to use it responsibly. And there is no skipping steps. If you're going to use it for your first draft, if you're so compelled to do so, and I encourage people to do it, start there and then build from. You make it, that's essentially what really is your blank canvas, because it started with and will end with your vision. And I don't think it's anything to be concerned about. I think it's going to make us more productive.
Yeah.
But it's a tool, and like any tool, you have to use it smartly.
Yeah.
What I like about what you just said was you're not replacing people with this tool. The people are going to be overseeing, and it's an intern. AI is an intern. I love that.
Yeah, I love the way you
that.
frame it like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be. And yes, it's scary, but it's been around forever. It's not new. Do you have an Alexa in your house? That's AI.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question and kind of
Yeah.
flip it from the business to the personal? How do you handle and manage business owner, all of the things there, mom, wife? How do you make it all go?
It's
A lot
messy.
of coffee?
Oh God, Yes, but no, it's messy. It's a symphony of chaos. At Grapevine, we call ourselves the island of misfit toys because, in short, to answer your question, you surround yourself with the right people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've got an incredible partner in life. Like the king on my chessboard is the best dad, the best husband. He's, you couldn't imagine a better human to have your back in all things. And then on the Grapevine front, I've got great partners. I've got great executive creative directors. I've got my director of finance. I think if I had to murder someone, Tammy, I'm calling you out, she would help me hide the body. I mean, like these, it is so close. And then you have that handful of friends. So you build your tribe and you lean into it and you trust them and you hope they trust you back and you earn it every day.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so that's it. And my kids are very much in the thick of it with me.
Yeah.
So
How old are the kids?
4 is my little girl, and 11, my son's 11.
Oh.
And if I'm cheering, making strides, they're on the stage with me. If it would have been appropriate, I probably would have had on the stage with me at Wine, Women, and Shoes. But
I want to talk about Wine, Women, and Shoes.
Yeah.
And I want to switch a little bit from business to Allison's philanthropic need to give back to the community. And in doing so, I want to tell a personal story. So I first met Allison when she and I came together because she was going to help my husband find a much needed bone marrow when we were looking for a bone marrow transplant for him. And she gave her time and her energy, her staff's time and her energy to put out public service announcements, to do flyers as we were really blanketing a lot of the Florida areas, but nationwide as well, in an attempt to find a bone marrow donor for Faru. And then later, when he passed, Allison, again, out of the goodness of her heart, put together a life retrospective of Faru, which was just beautiful. And everybody was sobbing it was so beautifully done. But also, you do a lot in the community, some of which you don't even tell people about. Like you were telling me recently about the work that you do for the homeless or the people who need housing in Manatee County. Mm-hmm. You've chaired Wine, Women, and Shoes, which everybody in Sarasota knows is the preeminent thing to go to every year, the fundraiser, and you help 40 Carats in the process, and you've raised millions of dollars. Let's start with Wine, Women, and Shoes. How did you get involved in that? Tell us a little bit more about it. And what is 40 Carats, and what do they do?
Yeah. Oh, that's a great question. Well, first of all, the Wine, Women, and Shoes, they have between 60 and 70 of them nationally. And they in each different market, they benefit a different charity. So in this market, we're fortunate to have it be 40 Carats Family Center. And in a single day at this event, it raises 20 to 25% of their entire annual operating budget.
Amazing.
And
Amazing.
I don't want to misquote because Michelle Caperlian, the CEO of 40 Carats, I respect her with every fiber of my being. But I believe it's north of 85%. It might be even in the 90 percentile of their services are donated or scholarshiped. And so it's childcare, it's like daycare services, and then it's early childhood development and reading programs and family classes and financial literacy classes. So it's a holistic approach to raising healthy kids.
Yeah.
I mean, it's exceptional.
How did you get involved with 40 Carats?
That's a great question. So Bill Clark, who I've known since he started Venus Med Spa in 2009, he's been the presenting sponsor for years. And one year, kind of tangentially, he said to me, you need to meet Minta. Now, Minta, both of her sons went to 40 Carats. She's very close with Michelle, the CEO. And for all 18 years of this event, she's been the event manager, event coordinator, the grand poobah, the miracle maker every year. And so I meet Minta and we start talking about, I think my first question was, how can we help? How can we, make this better for you? And so we started out doing some assistance with marketing and getting the word out and selling tickets, and then day of doing like red carpet interviews and pushing the online auction, that kind of stuff.
So great.
And then a few years ago, I bawled like a child. She asked if I would consider co-chairing the event. And ready, fire, aim. I was like, yes. And then my whole team came in and helped with all the design and the marketing and the website and all the signage day of. And that's been our path for the past 3 years.
It's an amazing
Fantastic.
event. Amazing
It's
event.
the best
Yeah.
event.
Yeah.
It really
It's
is.
fun.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's fun. They do so much good. So much good is done that day.
Yeah.
I like to say it's a 2 comma day. And that means we're going to raise at least $1 million.
Yeah. And you do. consistently.
Yeah,
every year.
They do.
Oh, yeah.
They do.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you.
So what other organizations are you involved with locally where you give back philanthropy style?
Sure. Right now I'm on the committee for the gala for the Performing Arts Foundation, and that's next March, and that's a organization very near and dear to my heart. I don't have several. I have one.
You never know.
Because listen, wouldn't that be a blessing? So I grew up in performing arts, and but for that, I don't know that I would have the chutzpah I do today. So I'm very fortunate to be involved personally and professionally with the Performing Arts Foundation, with organizations like Easter Seals, American Cancer Society, Making Strides Against Breast Cancer, and Spark and Education Foundation and Animal Rescue Coalition. We really try to be extremely involved, and the only limitation to what we can do is the capacity of the team.
You're such an amazing role model for women.
Thank you.
You're the whole thing. You're it, right? You're a smart businesswoman. You're a good family member. You're a wife and mother. You are a good giver back to the community. You're just everything, and a good role model for
What
others.
a nice
So
thing to
thank
say.
you.
And you've got two hearts. You've got
I have
two
all the
hearts.
hearts. That's probably why. It's like the Grinch.
Allison,
Yeah.
that's so impressive. It really is. What a role model for people to look up to.
Thank you.
And to kind of get how it can be done.
Yeah.
It can be done this way, and
But not by an individual.
right.
It
takes a team. It takes
Yeah.
a village. It takes friends. It takes family. It takes it all.
Yeah.
And you're doing it. That's so impressive.
Well, I certainly don't do it alone, but I thank you for the compliment. That's
Yeah.
very, very kind.
Yeah.
How can people reach you? Those of people who are listening who might need Grapevine Communications,
Yeah.
like what's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, the best way to reach me is wowme@grapeinc.com.
Okay.
And that's GRAPEINC.com.
Okay. Great. And you have offices in Lakewood Ranch and in Sarasota.
Yeah, we're right at the end of Professional Parkway, where Professional Parkway meets Communications Parkway in Lakewood Ranch. And then we're downtown off Main Street, and that's more of our studio space. It's where a lot of the art gets made.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Well, as we say on this podcast, together we can rise to the top, stay at the top, and dream bigger than we've ever imagined. And you, my friend, are a testament to that.
Yay.
Thank you
That's
so
for
much
sure.
for joining
Yeah.
us.
Thanks,
Thanks,
you, ladies.
Allison.
It's an honor.
Thank you. Oh my God. I could keep going
I know.
for days.
We have to have her
like, what the
back,
hell?
actually.
We thank you for listening and hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, please share this show with friends and family and subscribe to our YouTube channel. This way, you'll never miss weekly drops. Stay strong, dream big, and floss your teeth.